Earlier this week, I had some relatives over. These are relatives by marriage, so the only ones who I can say call me Uncle Mitch is my great niece and her mother, who's my niece, like I said, by marriage. And we started talking in general terms, and the topic came up about the grandmothers. Like I said, we're not related, but by marriage, so I'm just saying the grandmother, giving no names away. Anyway, she happened to mention that her husband had been in a nursing home for about 10 days. I guess he was in a bad state. They took him to the emergency room. Then they took him to the nursing home. And they ran into some problems with the nursing home. I can't remember everything that was going on, but supposedly they said that there were certain things that weren't right and that his insurance wasn't going to cover it because of that, and that if they wanted to keep him there, they were going to have to pay $350 a day. She didn't have that kind of money. I mean, they have money, but how many people can actually just pay $350 a day out of pocket? Not very many. So they brought him home, had him brought home, and they struggled with it for a while. They got some home aid through some people to help them out a little bit, but they struggled. And so they looked at everything and they said, this is terrible. We need to do something about this. So they wanted to call a lawyer. And they called a lawyer, but they couldn't get the lawyer to do anything for them. And they called a few lawyers and they said they didn't know what to do. They were just stymied. It was bothering them. And I said, y'all do remember what I do, don't you? I said, I am a healthcare finance consultant. Did you request medical records? And they looked at me and said, no, we can do that. I said, well, yeah, you can do that. You request a medical record. And my niece said, oh, but we don't have thousands of dollars to pay for that. And I said, he was in 10 days, right? I said, yep. I said, in New York State, it charges 75 cents a page. If he was only in for 10 days, most probably you're going to have anywhere from 10 to 20 at best. If they did any therapy for him, where they had to do physical therapy or whatever, then they can charge you for those sheets, but it's still 75 cents. However, you told me he was basically in a bed, so you're not going to have to worry about that. So if he had gone in for physical therapy, if they have different meal plans that they put in a different record other than putting it in the general medical record, then they could scan those and send them to you. But in general, they have to send it to you if you request it. They have to tell you how much it is up front. You have to pay it up front. And then you get the medical records in the mail. And the thing is that if you know what you're looking at, like I did when I had to do this for my mother back in 2021, then you can go and look through it. And now you've got something where you can contact the lawyer and say, okay, this is what the record says. However, few people are going to know what the medical record means. However, if you've got the medical record, you can call a lawyer, and at that point, a lawyer will probably say, okay, we will take a look at the medical record. They're still probably going to charge you an hour fee just to look at it. But if you think you've got a case, if they think you've got a case, then you're all set. Now, I did a video about 4 months ago where I said that sometimes you have to question your medical bill. And I mentioned in that particular video that you might have to get a medical record. But I didn't give any details on that. I just said you got to get a medical record. So let me talk about medical records. Every medical facility, every physician, no matter what it is, even dentists have medical records. They all have to keep medical records. It's a federal law that they have to keep medical records. They look different from state to state, but in general, they have certain information that they have to capture. And if you decide you want a copy of the medical record, you can request it in every state in the union. Now, the prices do differ. For instance, like I said earlier, in New York State, it's 75 cents a page. In some states, it's only 25 cents a page. In others, it's $1. I did a little quick research, and $1 was the most expensive I saw for regular medical records. That basically means it's just paper. It might be if they have a paper that they've marked something on it, that still only counts as paper. If they had to do any scans, like if they had to do an x-ray and they have those in there, then they consider that as film image. And film image, turns out it can go anywhere from $10 per sheet up to $120 a sheet. My goodness. I have no idea how much that is in New York State. But truth of the matter is that a lawyer is not going to be able to look at a scan and tell what it is. They would have to go to someone as a professional. However, they can read the medical records if they've got any skill whatsoever, and most lawyers do, although it's better if you go to, if you're looking for someone who's older, you want to go to an elder care lawyer. Any other lawyer, you will probably find someone who has had to deal with this kind of thing before. So when she said thousands of dollars, I said, no, when I had to do it for my mother, it came to $164 because I got the total of the medical record, regular medical record, but they were doing physical therapy on her. So I got that one. That was a separate piece of paper. And I did a video, which I'm going to link to at the end of the video, where I had to fight a nursing home. And I won. I won on two things. One, they actually put in the medical record that they needed to contact me because her Medicare benefits were running out because she was a physical therapy patient. She wasn't supposed to be admitted as a resident forever. She was there for physical therapy. You're only supposed to stay so long, and if physical therapy isn't working, then you're supposed to basically contact someone. If the patient is cognizant enough to understand, then you can talk to them. If they're not, you're supposed to speak to their healthcare proxy. And I was that for my mother. That was in the medical record, but they never contacted me until 2.5 weeks later. So I won on that one. And also, if Medicare is running out, they're supposed to tell you if they're there for physical therapy. And they didn't do that either. So I won. There was also this injury my mother had that was not listed in the medical record that she had when she got home. And it was massive. So I was able to read the medical record. I understood everything that was going on. Most people might not be able to recognize that. However, you can always request an itemized bill from any facility that you go to, from any physician, anyone else. You can get a full itemized bill. And if there's something on there that's not in the medical record, you can challenge that. Now, you can do that before you go for a lawyer. But if you're unsure about it, if you're thinking, hey, maybe we need to sue someone, that's when you talk to a lawyer. But you need to understand, if you go to lawyers, that's when the money could be bigger. Hopefully you'll find a lawyer who's honest and will tell you up front what your chances are, or whether what you have there you really don't need a lawyer for. But in general terms, you need to always get the medical record. And by the way, if you decide to call the facility or the physician's office or whatever, and you want to ask something about the medical bill, and you don't get satisfaction, requesting the medical record is the best thing to do before you try to escalate it within the hospital. By law, they're not supposed to change anything that's in the medical record. They can add stuff to it, but they're not supposed to change it. But I'm betting some of them change it. There have been a lot of hospitals that have lost because it was proven that they had changed the medical record. And some of those, the patient didn't know to request it. A lawyer would know, but the patients didn't. I'm actually kind of surprised that the lawyer that the grandmother talked to didn't say you should get the medical record. But everyone needs to know this. Your states are different. Like I said, they have to tell you up front how much it's going to cost. And I guess a lot of people balk at that because that sounds intimidating. But if you're serious about it, I'll put it this way. If you think the bill is way too expensive, if you have to pay less than $200 for the medical record, whether you lose or not, that could actually end up saving you a lot of money for that $200. That's my thinking anyway. So let me know if you've had this problem. Have any questions about this? You let me know. I'm going to link to another video that's going to be pasted in there, the one where I said you need to question your medical bill. I did that 4 months ago, but it's only 2 videos ago, so I'm going to share it anyway. My name is Mitch Mitchell. I hope you all have a wonderful day. I hope I've explained this well. Y'all take care.